It's BMG Radio. This week, BMG is looking at Wonder Woman, movies in China, and my top movies of 2010. Yeah, I also talk about other stuff too. It's going to be epic. It's going to be normal, which is epic. Yeah, let's get to it. And welcome to BMG Radio. And tonight we're talking about Wonder Woman, China, and a bunch of different stuff. So, how's it going? Oh, hold on. I know some people like to see my beautiful face. Oh yeah, there we go. Hey everybody, how's it going? So yeah, I'm back. I know I'm never fully gone. I'm just lazy. Right now my life is steady pace. And there's lots of things I want to get done, and YouTube is taking a back seat. And every once in a while, I'm going to be doing these throughout the summer, hopefully once a week. I'm still thinking of going back to my old format where I don't do it live. Let me know what you think about that in the comments or in the chat. But okay, let's get into it. So, Wonder Woman. This movie sucks. No, it doesn't. This movie's really good. I know some people probably like, what? No, Wonder Woman. Thank God DC gets a movie where everyone goes, hey, that was really good. I didn't think DC could make a really good movie. It's like, DC makes fine movies. I don't get the hate. I like the DC movies. I like the Marvel movies. I like both. It's just I like DC better as a. Sorry, it's my dog sneezing. I like DC better as. Bless you, bless you. Okay, are you done? Can I? Okay, so I like DC better as a comic book company. But saying that, I've read a lot of Marvel comic books, but I just I got Batman and the Flash and Superman and all that stuff. It's like Marvel doesn't have anything like that, and they don't. So don't even say they do. So I don't know. But Wonder Woman, okay, so Gal Gadot killed it as Wonder Woman. Apparently, she only got $300,000 for the movie. I'm thinking she's going to get a big bonus, plus probably, the next time she has to renegotiate her contract, like Robert Downey Jr. got paid very little to be Iron Man. Excuse me, I was scratching my nose. He didn't get a lot. Like Terrence Howard actually got more to play Rhodey in the first Iron Man movie than Robert Downey Jr. got for being Iron Man. And he signed a contract to do like 5 movies. And once he did those 5 movies and was back to being the star he was, and he got to then renegotiate a huge contract. So I'm sure Gal Gadot signed on for a couple movies, like 3 or 4 movies, at a fairly low paycheck. And once she finally gets to, sign her name on the dotted line for re-up, it's going to be big. It'll be large. So that's cool. This is the first. Apparently, there's so many firsts in this movie. Like first movie, it hit a whole bunch of milestones, and I was gonna look them up, and I'm like, I don't even want to look them up. I don't feel like it. It's just, it's the first movie shown in IMAX from a woman director. First movie to break a certain amount of the box office from a woman director. I think it's a smart move. I'm all for women empowerment. I'm what would be called a classical feminist in the sense that I think women should be entitled to the same chances that men are. I don't think they should get more. I don't think they should get less. I think they should get equal. If the job says you can lift 100 pounds and a woman can lift 100 pounds, she can do the job. It's that simple. It's classical feminism. It's turned into something like feminism is a dirty word, but like I think it's smart having for a woman movie, like a woman-based movie where it's a woman superhero. And this is the first real one we've gotten where it's like the lead and stuff. Like, people have been clamoring for a Black Widow movie. Marvel doesn't seem to have any interest in moving in that. And if they are, it's a bit late now. But it's just, this is the first one. Female lead and female director. And I think it worked great. I think like it was fantastic. It was really enjoyable. I've actually seen it twice. Got to see it for work, where I didn't miss any of it, but I couldn't concentrate fully on it because of work. But the second time I got to go with my daughters, and it was very enjoyable the second time too. Like the first second time, I didn't just stay for see if there was an end thing because I didn't think there would be. But for the end, the second time I stayed to the very end, and there's nothing, and I'm fine with that. I want DC to keep that up. Then I want like don't change your thing now. Don't Justice League. You cannot have something at the end of the movie. Because you know what? I have no problem with after credit scenes. I think they're cute and fun. I think they're getting a bit ridiculous when you do 5 of them, which is what Guardians of the Galaxy did. Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like you didn't need to do 5 after credit scenes. You could have put some of those you could have put in the movie. Some of them were unnecessary. So it's just yeah. I think it's like it's cute and fun. But DC clearly is like, we're not Marvel, so don't expect us to be Marvel. And if you want to stay to the end, that's great. You get to read the credits, but that's all you're going to get to do. And I'm fine with that. I think that's fine. They're trying to separate themselves. But yeah, the movie overall has some really decent action, has some good acting. Gal Gadot, like I said, is great as Wonder Woman. Chris Pine is really funny as Steve Trevor. And I like the ensemble cast they built around everything. So, yeah, and that scene, apparently the scene, like they weren't going to put the whole storming the trenches, crossing no man's land thing in there. And I'm like, what the heck were they thinking there? But I'm glad they changed their mind. Apparently there are no things left on the cutting room floor to really be deleted scenes. Like they filmed everything they wanted to film and put it all in the movie, which is kind of cool for the most part. I'm sure there's some alternate takes of stuff, but like, yeah. So, um, yeah, so Wonder Woman, I give it 4 beards out of 5. I thought it was a very solid movie. I'm trying to think where it sits. I think it probably sits like, although it's like a really solid movie, I still think I like Batman v Superman better. Um, and I still think I like Man of Steel better than that. So I think it sits like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, and then Suicide Squad. And I enjoyed Suicide Squad. I'm sorry, I did. I liked it. Could have been way better. Could have been way worse. So I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming out. They got a ton coming out for DC. They got a ton coming out for Marvel. I'm interested in to see everything that's going. There is some superhero fatigue setting in, which is nice to see. It didn't hit Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman like has made a ton of money, lots and lots of money, and I think part of it is the fact that it's a woman and she's very iconic. Not a lot of people know a lot about Wonder Woman, but they know what she is. Like they know what she stands for and all that stuff. But her backstory, a lot of people like it's the same thing as Iron Man. Pre 2008, if you went around and like you'd have a hard time doing this now, but if you went around, did like one of those survey says things from um, Family Feud, if you went to a shopping mall and asked 100 people who Tony Stark is, I guarantee you most of them wouldn't have said Iron Man. Or what is Iron Man's secret identity? Most of them would have said Tony Stark. You go now, you'll get Tony Stark all day long. You'll get Iron Man all day long. But back then, you won't get that, right? Because people didn't know who Iron Man was in the general consciousness. Now they do. Wonder Woman's the same way. Wonder Woman is known. Like if you see a picture of Iron Man, you would have known what he is. Mostly, you would have gone, "Oh, it's Iron Man." Like, yeah, I don't know anything about him. Wonder Woman, people know Wonder Woman by sight all around the world, even way more than Iron Man. But they didn't know a lot of her backstory. A lot of people would just go, "She's Wonder Woman." Yeah, I remember the cartoon, or not the cartoon, but I remember the show where Linda Carter spun around and became Wonder Woman. I remember it too. I enjoyed watching her spin around. Moving on. Anyways, so Wonder Woman, thumbs up. I give it 430 thumbs up if I did that, but I don't. All right, what else did I want to talk to you about? Okay, I just saw this thing. You can find it pretty much on YouTube. I'm not linking to it because I'm just too lazy, people. But it's talking about China and how the film industry in China is so different now. And they allow, I believe it said 38 movies from international movies to be shown in China per year. Okay. And I've been, me and fellow YouTuber CP off of Will Like It Reviews did a show called Show Business for quite a while. It was a live stream where we talked about the weekly box office. And one day, I hope to start that up again, CP, and I miss it. But we kept on going back to China. And it's funny because like China would save movies, and they are picking up on this. And like movie companies have picked up on this. And so there's this video on YouTube that talks all about how there are 5 ways that China, like people are marketing to China. So they're including Chinese actresses and actors and directors and stuff like that. So like it talks about X-Men, Days of Future Past. The character of Blink was a Chinese actress. Again, what is it? Independence Day had like China had a key role in that movie with generals and a pilot. Transformers was set in, I believe, Hong Kong or China. I'm not sure which. I haven't watched that 4th one yet because I don't want to, but I probably will sooner or later. But yeah, there's like ways you can get your movie kind of wanted to be seen by China. It's product placement, all that kind of stuff. And Chinese dollars are huge. Like 10 years ago, you couldn't get any movies in China. So now the Chinese audiences are like, holy crap, I've never seen this before. These robots killing each other and all this stuff. So they're going to the movies like mad. And the what they use as the starting point is what I've talked about with the starting point with CP lots of times, where it was World of Warcraft or Warcraft, the film, how it bombed in America. It made like 42, 46 million overall. It cost 140 to make. It made that its opening weekend in China. And people gobbled that movie up. Now this is based on a game which is played in China too, but people watched that movie a heck of a lot. They didn't watch it here that much, here being Canada, but United States also included in that. Made very little money for what it was supposed to make. I watched it actually, like I finally watched it later on DVD, and I actually thought it was a pretty decent movie. I didn't get a lot of the references because I've never played anything World of Warcraft, but I still enjoyed the movie. Could have been better, could have been worse. That's for scale. But China has changed things because now they're making movies to kind of the bigger movies. Now, like Quentin Tarantino films are not ever going to be marketed to China. Number one, because they're not going to have giant robots in them. Number two, because they're dialogue based. They want to show movies that they can easily like if there's a reason kung fu films work so well in America. You don't need to know what someone's saying, and you can still figure it out by the guy kicking someone in the head what's going on. Well, giant robots does that. Giant orcs and people fighting does that. You don't need to know. There's no language barrier there. You could like it helps, but you have a movie like Pulp Fiction shown in China, they wouldn't have any clue what's going on. And they wouldn't get a lot of the nuances of the conversation and stuff like that, even if it was translated properly. So, like, and like I said, right now, you only get 38 films, I believe, that China will accept for the whole year. So if you think, and they have guidelines too, like Ghostbusters did not, like the female Ghostbusters did not play in China because they refuse to show any movie that has paranormal stuff. So they're not big into ghosts in China. I know Japan, different country, will show lots of that stuff, like the Grudge, Ring You, obviously. But in China, they don't. No, ghosts are a no-no. So Ghostbusters was a no-no. They didn't stand a chance in that being one of those 38 films. So magic is fine, but ghosts, no, you can't do that. So it's just really interesting. I strongly recommend you check out the video. You can find it easily on YouTube. Just type in China box office, and I'm sure you'll get it. Yeah, hold on, just go to the chat. See if anyone's there. I doubt, other than my daughters. No one's in the live chat. That's okay. I'm gonna be in live chat. Hey, there you go. I live chatted people. Live chatted back. So I didn't really get any questions or anything for tonight, which is fine. But the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, I'm going to talk about what I've been watching lately, but I'm also going to be talking about I'm lately on Letterboxd. If you're not on Letterboxd, you should get on Letterboxd. It's a great. It's like Flickster but cooler. If you know what Flickster is, it's basically a chance to rank movies and put your thing out there and what you think there are, and put little reviews. Follow people that you're friends with. Follow people that you're like, wow, this guy's seen 10,000 movies. I should watch. I should see what he's watching. And you can make a diary, and YouTubers like Brian Lomax have embraced this and stuff, and I have too, to most degree. I don't quite. I do use it quite a bit. I just haven't talked about it nearly as much as he has lately with his whole Letterboxd Sunday thing. Shout out to Brian Lomax. Feel that length. So with that, I've been lately going. You can go through. Here's one of the things you can do. If you can go through by decade or go through by year and just see what was released in every year. And with that, I've been making top 10 lists or top lists of all the movies I saw that year. So tonight, I'm going to just tell you my top 10 movies of 2010. Now, saying that, 2010 was 7 years ago. I have watched 130 movies from 2010. Some years I've watched more, some years I've watched less. I'm going through, and it takes like a fair bit of time to do this because like you're going down a list of like a bunch of. You wouldn't believe how many movies come out in a year. Like we're talking thousands every year, and you think like as you're going down and you've been scrolling down for 2 minutes and you haven't seen one that you know, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll just stop, and then all of a sudden there's one you're like, oh, I saw that movie. So you got to log ad as being put on the list and stuff, and then you're like, okay, I'll continue, and again, a minute later you find another movie, and So I'm sure I've missed some probably even because I can't. I once tried to get to the bottom of the list on one year, and it took me like an hour of just scrolling down and seeing what I've seen. So I don't do that anymore. After a couple of minutes, if I haven't seen a movie that I know, I just kind of call it quits. But again, I got 130 for 2010. So 2010 was a decent year enough for movies from what I can see. Some of the ones that did make the list, King's Speech, The Town, Tangled, Shutter Island, Rubber. Rubber's great. You should see it nonetheless. Stuff like that. What else came out in 2010? The Losers came out. Ip Man 2. Yes, the first one. So yeah, these all came out in 2010. So none of those made the list. So starting, we'll start at 10 and go work our way down. From 10 to, I think it's 5, not 4. 10 to 4, I give the same score to all of these films. I just rank them just a little bit different. So they get 4.5 beards. So I'm not going to give you the rating every time, and then I'll start with 3 onwards. They're all 5. So 4.5. First movie on the list, starting at number 10 in 2010 movies, is True Grit, the Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Coen Brothers remake. Really solid, good movie. Enjoyed this movie a heck of a lot. I hadn't seen the original. I finally did see the original. I actually prefer to the original for several reasons. But I think as cool as John Wayne is, I think the Coen Brothers are better directors than the guy who directed the original True Grit. I don't know who that is. I can't remember it. I'm not about to look it up. And if I just insulted someone, I'm sorry. But True Grit, yeah, definitely cool Western, and had a good performance from the girl from, who's it, Haley Stanfield, I think. Is Stanfield? Yeah, Stanfield. Who I believe is in Edge of 17. She plays the girl in that, so it's good. Number 9, The Social Network. Yeah. And it's funny, I just saw a thing, there's this, I can't say what YouTube channel it is. But he talks about, oh, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go see if I can find the YouTube channel. He talks about the fact of David Fincher being such an epic director and how he uses special effects, and he'll use more special effects in his movies than some big special effects, big budget movies. And what he does is he generally uses them for things you would never think to use them for. And so like skylines in cities and stuff to get the look of things, like blood splatter. Like all his blood splatter is CGI, and he does a great job of mixing it so you don't notice it, and like he doesn't really use any traditional blood splatter stuff. And this guy, I'm trying to, I think, Captain, and then Kristen, Kristin. Yeah, I can't. Check him out. Captain Kristen. It's both with K's. Really smart YouTuber. Comes up. I don't agree with everything he says all the time. I've watched a bunch of his videos lately, but they are really interesting. And he looks at some things that are really impressive. He does a lot of essays, like visual essays and stuff. So yeah, check him out if you can. But he did that. So he was talking about Social Network, and Social Network. It's interesting. Social Network like is the beginning of Facebook, but it's not, because it's heavily changed to certain things. Mark Zuckerberg came out with that and said, yeah, like some of this is purely made up. But as a movie itself, taking it out of the based on a true story thing, it is great. It is just well made. It is well acted. And as we know, David Fincher is very meticulous in his shot selection. And like he'll make someone, they smashed 20, 30 computers like in a scene where the guy kept on just smashing it. And they'd be like, no, do it again, get a new computer in here, smash it. And it's like, so it's a David Fincher film, and it's a well-made David Fincher film. Not that he does a lot of bad ones, but yeah, Social Network, number 9. Number 8, Toy Story 3. I love Toy Story. I don't love it as much as other people do, but I think this was a great finale, and I'm hoping that the story of Toy Story 4 that I've heard they're thinking of making, they just don't, because I think this was a really good send-off. Toy Story 3. It hit all the heartstrings. It went dark. Like my daughters are too afraid to watch this movie. They're like, this is 2010. So like now they're 7 years older, but neither one of them ever want to see it again because it's dark. It gets pretty dark in parts. But it's so well made, and it wasn't really made for kids. It was made for the people who grew up with Toy Story. So like my best friend is a guy that was roughly Andy's age when Toy Story came out, and so he was roughly close to, this is 7 years ago. He would have been around 23, 22 when this was coming out or so. So it's like going off to college, he has that experience and all that kind of stuff. It was made for those people. It was made for the people who were around and who have been with the franchise. And I think it's a great send-off. And Michael Keaton as Ken is just great. All right, number 7, The Secret World of Arrietty. This is a Studio Ghibli film. It's based on the Borrower's books, if you've never seen them, which is basically little people living in a house, in a big person's house, and they have a secret world. The Secret World of Arrietty. Beautiful, just stunning, like great storytelling, beautiful animation. It's just great. I got to see it in theater with my daughters. Number 6, The Fighter. Not the best. Like Warrior, I think, was a better overall fighting movie, but The Fighter itself had some really incredible scenes in it. And Christian Bale, of course, just rocks it with his performance. That's not saying that Mark Wahlberg doesn't. Mark Wahlberg does a great job. Amy Adams, right? But Christian Bale, he is such a phenomenal actor. So great film, check it out. Number 5, Elite Squad, The Enemy Within. If you're like, what the freak is that? It's a Brazilian film. Elite Squad this is a sequel. Elite Squad is about BOPA, which is the secret kind of killing squad in the police in Brazil. It's based on true story, and how much ever actually happens and based on a true story to being real, I don't know. But they're incredible. It's done by the same people who did City of God. City of God is a fantastic film. Elite Squad is a fantastic film, and Elite Squad: The Enemy Within is a great follow-up. I thought like they were done, but no, they had this other film, and it follows up great. It's one of those things where you're just like, wow, that was impressive that they actually followed up with a really good movie to another good movie. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's in Portuguese, so you got to read subtitles. But I have no problem reading subtitles. And with that, number 4, 13 Assassins. Holy crap. Okay, if you've ever seen Seven Samurai, this is Seven Samurai on crack. It's 13 samurai trying to kill hundreds of other guys in a town that they've booby trapped because the world's biggest douchebag is basically, if he gets to the other side of the town and gets through them, he's going to become lord of a district and make everybody suffer for it. And so these 13 guys basically decide that's not happening. And so they do everything possible to get him sent to one area through a town, which they buy out the town, make everyone leave, and then set it up as one big booby trap, and end up going to town on these guys. And it's bloody, it's super freaking awesome. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's in Japanese, obviously. 13 Assassins, just freaking brilliant storytelling. So that's it for from 4 to 10. They all get 4.5. I'm stingy with 5s. So these 3 movies are all 5s. Number 3, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Edgar Wright just knocked this out of the park. The mix of editing and just poppiness and scripting and everything that went into this film to make it come out the way it did, what you're going to need and what you're not going to need, and have the transitions and all that kind of stuff, and the writing itself, plus like the story. Scott Pilgrim is great, and I'm biased because it's set in Toronto, but this is a great movie. It's easily one of Edgar Wright's best, if not his best. You can make an argument, and it's just, yeah, it's phenomenal. And if you haven't seen it, you're not helping yourself. All right, number 2, 5 Beers Again, is a movie that most of you probably have never heard of. I saw it and it blew me away. There's a few reasons it blew me away. Number 1, I'll just get out of the way, because if you don't know, you probably do know, but you don't. I'm a Christian. I'm cool with, and we're cool with each other. That's, if you want to call me an idiot, I'm okay with that too. Doesn't bother me. But there's a movie called Of Gods and Men, and it's a French movie set in, I think, Algiers. And it's a true story based on these monks that are living, these Christian monks that have been in this monastery for hundreds of years. Not these particular ones, like monks have been in this monastery for hundreds of years. And it's on the edge of a Muslim village. But they have been there so long that the village just grew up around them and totally accepts them. And they totally accept the village, and they work with them, and they're considered holy men there, and everyone loves them. And then all of a sudden rebels come and basically come to them and say, listen, you leave or you die. And it's all about these men who are just regular men of God, and they have to decide, do they want to stay with the fact that, like, if they abandon the village, that means they leave all these people that they've been intertwined with and dependent upon. They have to make the decision: do they stay or do they leave? And what do they feel God's calling them to do in this? It has, I don't know the guy's name, the guy who was the Merovingian in The Matrix. He's a great actor. He's way better than people think he is. And he is just phenomenal as the head kind of guy, who's the head priest. And it's not a fast movie. It's a slow movie. It's subtitled. It's in French. But it is such a beautiful depiction of what faith actually is, and what friendship, and just, it's amazing. It's flat out. I watched it and was just like, holy crap. And only one movie that year made me go, holy crap, more. That is Inception. Inception of 2010. Inception, I don't even know what I need to say about Inception. I think phenomenal. I understand it. I have a few friends that don't like it as much. Tara, listen, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but if you are, you think Nolan's overrated. I think he's like a cinematic treasure. Inception blew my mind on so many levels, and every time I watch it, it still just hits me every time, and I love it. So, Inception is the number one movie 2010. If you go on Letterboxd and go into Bearded Movie Guy is my thing because Bearded Movie Guy. You can check out my entire list. I would love to hear. You can comment on the list if you like. And every week that I do BMG Radio, I'm going to be talking about a different year. I'm doing this year, obviously, and last year, but I haven't seen as many films from this year and last year, so I'm not going to touch them. Going back, so yeah, 130 films I watched that year. Those were the top 10. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch it late. Patrick Holmes is in the chat. Good to see you. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm going to check here. So good. I'm going to get out of the chat here. Hold on. Actually, let me go back to the Letterboxd and just do that. Letterboxd is also a diary. So every time I watch a movie, within a day or two, I you add a film, you can put what day you saw it on and rate it and all that kind of stuff. So I'll just talk about what I've won. We'll do February. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'll give you June. So I will start with La La Land. I saw La La Land. I hadn't seen. I've only seen it once. Just by saying I hate musicals with a passion. But I've been told by so many people that this is such a great film. And so I'm like, I'm going to watch it, fine. And I made my daughters watch it. They didn't want to watch it either. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch this. I like Emma Stone. This movie's phenomenal. That's all I got to say. I just embrace the fact I'm like, okay, just let it go that it makes no sense that they're singing and dancing right now. It makes a little bit of sense with his jazz club and stuff, but it just, other than that, it makes no sense. And embrace the fact that it makes no sense and let it go. Incredibly choreographed. The opening scene, which is like all done in one shot, as far as I can tell. Maybe they cheated, but just looks incredible. Well, I got so much praise. I haven't seen Moonlight yet, so I can't say what should have won. Sure, and I don't really care because, but just I know people. It's on Netflix, so I'm going to watch it sooner or later. All right, so with that, going back to right now, thank you. Wonder Woman. I've seen this twice, so I'll just say, yeah, again, 4 beards. Enjoyed it thoroughly. In between that, I watched a thing called Middle School, the worst years of my life, and holy crap, 2016. I hate it for so many reasons, but I'll tell you the main reason. It's about a kid who's been kicked out of a bunch of schools because his brother died in trouble dealing with it. And then he starts doing these pranks because he's at a really school with a really mean principal because the principal was mean to him. And I'm okay with all that. It's silly, it's stupid, all that stuff. But then I'm like, where's the father in all this? Because like the mom, a sister too, so it's like 3 kids in the family before the one died. And I'm like, where's the father dating guy that she's way too smart to date? Then they address it with one line of dialogue that when one son got sick, the father flaked. And that's all they said. Your father flaked. Just the fact that would have A, messed up the kid. B, what about the father. These people don't care enough about the father. If he flaked, have some compassion on the guy and try and help him. But no, they just moved on with their lives and he flaked. What does flaked mean? Did he kill himself? Anyone that would also have problems for the kid, but they never ever talk about it. They talk about the fact that his brother died and that's what's messed him up. And I'm like, I get your brother dying would mess you up, but if your father also A, committed suicide, B, lives some other family, or D, just like ended up comatose or sit in a corner crying, this would mess a kid up. And they like attack on fathers. I'll be honest, and this is me being way too sincere about this, but fathers mean this in this world of Hollywood, that it didn't matter that this kid lost his father in some way. Doesn't have him around. Life doesn't seem to care. And so, yeah. I hate the movie. Next, I watched Empire of Ants. Ants, they got toxic waste with them and dropped big and then took over a town and made the townsfolk do what they wanted with prey, I guess. Movie. I enjoyed it. It's terrible, though. I give it two beards out of 5. I watched the documentary, and it's done by Herner Warzug, and it's all about the internet. Interesting, pretty slow, I'll be honest. And I give it 3 beards out of 5 just because it was very interesting. On the 7th, I watched Lifeboat, which I watched, recorded a while ago off Turner Classic Movies. Lifeboat is an Alfred Hitchcock film. It's all about a boat that goes down and all the people that end up on the lifeboat. And it's set in World War II, and the one guy who gets on the boat is German. Like they know he's German, but they think he's just a sailor. They find out he's the captain that sunk their boat later. I'm not spoiling, or maybe I am. I don't know. But it's good. It's Hitchcock, so there's some very tense moments. It's a little slow in parts, and overall, I enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it, but I can only give it 3.5 beards out of 5, which is a little film. But I like doing it just because of what it is. It is. Next, we watched Whip It for my daughter's birthday. Whip It is a movie about roller skating. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. I'm a big fan of Ellen Page. I think she's incredibly smart. I think she's really good, and interesting that, like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything to do with the fact that she's come out of this. I don't know, and I'm more like, I don't know that I in Hollywood that once you come out as being gay, could you still be offered third person in relationship movies like romantic? They'll do that, or they consider it insulting, or would they just be like, listen, I'm an actress, I can do whatever I can, which I believe she could, because she pulled it off for years anyways. But I haven't seen her a lot lately, which is sad because she's a really talented actress. I maybe need to check her filmography up. And I don't know what that other stuff works with all of that. If it was, hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping it doesn't have a problem with that. Almost the end. Under Siege. We watched that. Oh, Steven Seagal's best movie. Good in many parts. This movie is actually good in many parts. He's good in many parts. Good in several parts of this movie. And then running through the ship, shooting guns like this. What is this? He's shooting guns like this. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know, I'm in the military, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're shooting your guns like this at people. It doesn't work. I don't know. So it's guilty pleasure, so it's tons of 5. Super guilty pleasure. We watch Mortal Kombat. Easy, but it's super enjoyable still. It really is. It should not be in the top 5 best video game movies, but as far as I can tell, it is. You keep getting things like, I've heard Assassin's Creed sucked, and movies, they're bad. So it's got to be the answer. And lastly, because it was Father's Day yesterday, I got to watch Alien. Or sorry, my daughters are going to yell at me right now. Aliens. We watched Alien, and then we watched Aliens. Now, not the same day. I showed them Alien. Oh, I love this. This is like just a masterpiece of sci-fi horror filmmaking. I think, if you're asking me which one's better, Alien or Aliens, I think it does a better job with introducing certain things, and I think it's a better movie overall. That's Five Beards. This is Five Beards. They're both movies. I love things, hating movie like action-packed movie easily, but I still prefer Alien as a better movie. I think it's a better movie. But Alien is just so great. I loved it. My daughters loved it. Watching them scream at the screen, you're going, no, no, no. When the things coming out of the water, oh, Aliens, love the best characters ever in film history. So that's what I've been watching lately. That's basically been everything. I don't think it's for tonight. That's the only one of the thing. He loves it, so do I. I love the tension. I love the first 40 minutes of the film before the alien shows up because it's awesome. But yeah, I love the first one a bit more. One of those Fighters was a good film. Teen Assassins, terrific movie. He loves video games, but Scott Pilgrim's was okay. I think it's brilliant, but I get a few things. Just recently saw live action Beauty and the Beast. Haven't seen it yet. I don't really want to, but I've been told it's good. But it was okay, but I still prefer, I think is what you want to say there. The original animated, the original animated, I think is great. So I don't like the fact Disney keeps on remaking these things, but they're going to because they keep on making tons of money. So I understand. And that's about it, people. Anyone who's paying attention, listening here or in the future. If you have any questions or comments or things you want, hopefully going to do one of these next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see. I don't know. I'd love if you give me something to talk about. I will talk about it. Unless, like, if you're asking me to rate Kristen Stewart films, I'm probably not going to. But the girl from. If you give me something lame, I probably won't want to talk about it. But it's like, give me something cool to talk about. I will talk about it. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in, doing all that stuff, whatever you want to call it nowadays. Turning on the channel, and that I'm gonna kill my video. Thank you. Stay there. As always. YouTube safely.